Welcome to Equip, Build, Mature. On this Tuesday, I want to share a word of encouragement with you. There is a moment in the gospel story that reveals both the depth of human betrayal and the unimaginable love of Jesus. Judas's betrayal of Jesus was a hard point in the gospel to read and to hear. Many people know the story, but I think few really pause to more deeply understand the weight behind what happened that night in the Garden of Gethsemane. Judas was not a stranger to Jesus. He walked with him, lived with him for 3 years. He heard the teachings. He witnessed the miracles. The blind received sight, the lame walked, and the dead were raised. He ate with Jesus. He traveled with him. He learned from him. Yet, this one who stood so close to Jesus became the one who delivered him to death. Matthew chapter 26 explains that Judas went to the chief priests and he asked a disturbing question. How much would they give him if he delivered Jesus to them? Well, they agreed on a price, 30 pieces of silver. That was not a random number. In the law of Moses, Exodus chapter 21 verse 32 clarifies that 30 shekels of silver was the payment price for a slave. Historically, a shekel weighed about 11 grams of silver. 30 shekels would roughly equal 330 grams of silver. In May of 2026, with silver valued around $2.40 a gram, that amount would equal around $800. Just think about that. God, the Creator in the flesh, our sustainer, our Redeemer, the Son of God, through whom all things were made, the one who healed the sick, opened the blind eyes, and raised the dead, was valued at the price of a basic mid-range refrigerator, the price of a low-end appliance. The Messiah was priced like a servant, a tool. Centuries later, the prophet Zechariah had already foretold this exact moment. Zechariah chapter 11, verses 12 to 13, described the shepherd of Israel being valued at 30 pieces of silver. Zechariah foretold that the money would be thrown onto the stone floor of the temple and then used to buy a potter's field where poor indigent people would be buried. And this is exactly what happened after Judas realized the weight, the seriousness of what he had just done. The betrayal became more heartbreaking as we see Judas and how Judas chose to identify Jesus when he found him in the garden. He did not point him out. Oh, there he is. He did not shout across the garden, "That's him over there." Judas chose to kiss Jesus. Matthew chapter 26, verses 48 to 49 says, Judas approached Jesus and greeted him with a kiss. Greeted him. In the culture of that time, a kiss was a sign of honor, respect, and loyalty. A disciple, a learner, might greet his teacher in this way, with a kiss on the cheek. So Judas took a symbol of love and turned it into the mark of betrayal. The very gesture that represented devotion became the signal for arrest. But what Jesus said in that moment reveals the very heart of the gospel. Jesus responded in Matthew 26:50, speaking to Judas, "Friend, Listen to that. Friend, do what you came to do. Friend, not you traitor, not you enemy, but friend. Even in the moment of betrayal, Jesus did not respond with hatred. Jesus knew something that the soldiers did not fully understand. The priests did not fully understand. And even Judas did not fully understand what Jesus knew. The cross was not being forced on Jesus. The cross was something that Jesus willingly stepped into. John chapter 10 verse 18 says, recording the words of Jesus, no one, speaking of his life, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own. I have the right to lay it down, and I have the right to take it up again. I've received this command from my Father. Jesus allowed himself to be betrayed, to be arrested, to be beaten, and he allowed himself to be crucified. Not because he was powerless. Jesus allowed it all because he was determined to save the soul of each human that's ever born onto planet Earth. The kiss of betrayal led to the cross, and the cross led to redemption. This is why the story of Judas is not only about betrayal, it is also about Jesus' unshakable love, his consistent mercy and grace towards humanity. Even when humanity turned against him, even when a friend sold him for silver, even when nails pierced his hands, Jesus continued moving forward with the mission of making it possible for our souls to be saved from God's wrath against our sin. Romans chapter 5:8, as Paul wrote this letter, captures this idea. Romans 5:8. But God proves his own love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. That means the cross was never just about Judas. It was about you. It was about me. The price paid was not 30 pieces of silver. The price paid was the life of the Word of God, who was born of God, and Mary, when she was still a virgin. His mercy and grace is still today reaching people. I want to encourage you, spend time in God's written word, getting to know God, getting to know the Spirit, and getting to know Jesus. We need to see what they're about, what their heart is, what their desire is, what their mission is. We need to see and come to understand and actualize the reality of their love by reading the Gospels especially. Guys, thanks for taking a few moments here with me today. Hope this has been challenging and encouraging to you. Hope you have a great Tuesday. Take care.